know it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
So I wasn't really sure if I wanted to make a video on this person. But after the recent live stream she did, I knew at this rate someone needed to say something to her. The TikToker's name is Elizabeth, and she claims to have a disability and uses a service dog to do things. Seems innocent, right? Well, to be completely honest, her videos seem normal at first. But the main thing you'll realize is when Elizabeth does her TikTok live streams, she becomes a completely different person. And I don't mean that in a good way. The best way to describe her personality on her live streams is basically being completely defensive and a straight-up asshole. Now you might not believe it at first, but from the video I'll show you that I recorded from her live will basically reveal the skeletons she hides in her closet.
So you think somebody calling me a bitch because he didn't get his way, that I should be nice to him?
No, man, that was unfortunate. I would not do that. I would not, right? I couldn't imagine doing it. It was the guest before that, right? And you asked him what he wanted, and I understand that he got it wrong, right? Because there's no question mark, and I recognize that. I just didn't understand that, like, personally, right? What I do for a living is I protect people, right? And I've given my whole life to protecting other people, children, and all the rest of that. And if you're unaware that people, whether people are good or bad, why mistreat them before you know whether they're good people or bad people? Right?
What exactly is it that I did that you deemed as mistreating? Let's talk about it. What did I do that was mistreating?
Well, if you were to come into a live, even if I didn't want a conversation, ma'am, right? There'd be no way that I would ever speak to you in that way, right? I would never, ever ask you, what do you want, right? I would never do that to you, right? I think you are very nice. Like if you took the time to come to me and speak, then I would absolutely cherish the fact that somebody took the time out that wanted to speak to me, right? I think that's a wonderful thing.
I'm gonna ask, what is wrong with me asking what you want?
And we all know that there are inflections in people's voices and phrases, right? And words have meanings, and so do inflections, right? So as a teacher,
I say what I mean. When I ask somebody what they want, I'm asking what they want. I am getting directly to the point. They knock, I open the door, and I'm like, okay, what do you want? So I can get right to the point, and if they have something that I don't want to talk to, I close the door. I don't want to have that conversation, and that's okay for me to do. Me sitting up here and getting to the point on my life where I am the host. You see this little thing that says host here? I am the host. I get to the point, and if that is an issue for you, I strongly encourage that you hit the exit button now. That is okay to not like the way I am speaking to you or other people. That's okay. I get that. I get that I'm blunt. I get that I can be abrasive. That is how I speak, and in my space, I will not change it for somebody else.
Elizabeth has claimed that she was harassed and threatened by men, and that's her reason as to why she would rather pick the bear than a man. Now, I completely understand someone being scared or traumatized after something crazy like that has happened in their life. But the way Elizabeth talks about her reason doesn't really help her, mainly because she gets very defensive about her opinion and tells people to basically shut up and leave her live if they don't agree with her.
That's what I'm asking, man. And I'm wondering, because if you and I had a conversation, and I would really cherish the fact that you had an opinion, right? I would want to know what other people thought. I would want to know what you thought.
Okay, but I don't want to know.
I understand. Well, if someone said, well, I'm not in the mood for a conversation, and I can understand that, and then I wouldn't have come up either, right? But I did want to ask why you would pick the bear, but I don't know if you'd answer the question or if you're going to tell me to leave.
Okay. I mean, I only told the person to leave because they asked what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are going to ask me if I want you to leave or what I want, I'll tell you to leave. But you didn't ask that, so don't ask questions if you don't want to answer to.
If you don't want people to ask you what you would pick, then why the hell would you start a debate live stream? Because realistically, if you do these types of live streams, of course, people are going to ask for your opinion. And that just goes for things in life in general. So don't get mad at people for just asking for your opinion, because that just makes you look insecure. Another thing I should mention is how Elizabeth's tone is to the guy. Is she always like this? I hate to admit it, but not everyone is going to agree with your opinion. And just because that happens doesn't mean you have to get extremely defensive and tell people to leave your live just because they don't agree with you.
I did want to know why you picked the bear, ma'am, if there are people that are good and kind.
I don't want to address that quite yet. I do want to just for clarity's sake say, so your opinion is that I should sit up here and be meek and docile and give in to violent men who push boundaries and do all that. So that is, I just want for clarity's sake, that's your stance. That I'm wrong for setting boundaries and being firm on my boundaries. Is that what you're saying?
I'm thinking more courteous. Like courteous, having a conversation and being courteous is outside of the realm of boundaries, right? Someone is saying hello, and then the response being, "What do you want?" is there's no boundary set, Right? There's no boundary.
I don't want to have the small talk. I feel like it's disingenuous. Why do you care how I'm doing? Does it affect your day? Are you going to do something to fix it? No. Why are you asking? 9 times out of 10, it's asking just to be polite. So it's disingenuous. I would like to skip the disingenuous part of the conversation and get to the point. It moves things along a lot faster to figure out, do I want to have a conversation with you? Do I not? I answer the same way to almost everybody who's come up into my panel. Even my very close friends, that's how I've started with them. If they come up, I say, what do you want? They get to the point. We have a dialogue, or we don't have a dialogue. They respect that. They drop down. Or I drop them if they need to. Those are what has happened with my friends. If you, for some reason, feel like some sort of way that I am getting to the point of the conversation and skipping the small talk part, then I'm not going to apologize. I don't really give a fuck.
Now, I can agree that men should show women respect and definitely should not try to take advantage of them in certain ways. But what I will say is that if you're trying to get to know someone, you should start by doing small talk with that person and not just try to get straight to the point. Because how are you supposed to know what the person you're trying to communicate with likes to do or who they really are? And also, it makes you look like you're just trying to do one thing with that person and that's it, which will cause the person to feel uncomfortable and concerned about you. And I really need to say this, but why does she always beat around the bush when it comes to answering a simple question? All the guy asked you was, why would you pick the bear instead of a man? You couldn't even answer that question without giving him explanations to other things that didn't involve the question.
Then why, if you wouldn't come into a man's, I asked you, would you go into a man's life and do the same thing? Because I really don't think you would.
Ma'am, you might want to follow me. I've been known to be a mean guy to men who mistreat people. I'm really bad about that. Really bad to men. I'm asking you because I think there's something different, right? I don't know that there is.
I mean, I quite frankly don't care. I just find it weird that you're coming into a space that centers women and trying to tell women how to talk to men who are perpetuating violence.
How the hell are you going to say that he's perpetuating violence when you're up here saying that because of what happened to you, that all men are shit? And not to mention, you're literally being an asshole to people and don't even bother try to listen to what they have to say. Not all men are assholes, and actually a lot of them know how to respect women.
No, so I've had these conversations 100 times. I know the way these conversations are going to go before they happen.
Okay.
I know exactly how this conversation is going. I knew it was going to happen the moment you opened your mouth and said that first sentence. I am taking the time to have this conversation because I feel like it's important. I know the way these conversations go. You want to know why I picked the bear? The man who called me a bitch. The man before who said he was happy that I got essay. The man before who threatened to beat me. When they did it their way. When I said, what do you want? No, I don't want to hear that. No, go away. Those are you asked why I picked the bear. Those are the reasons I picked the bear.
You're seriously mad that people are treating you like shit. Look at the way you're acting. You expect to be treated with respect, but meanwhile, you're acting like a child. You're a 20-year-old grown-ass adult. Maybe if you actually decided to act like your age for once, maybe people would respect you.
What about the man here who's telling you that he would value your opinion in the conversation?
I don't care about you. How am I supposed to know? On the street, how am I supposed to know who's going to hurt me and who's not going to hurt me? For my safety, I am going to follow the men together. And if you have a problem with that, that's not my problem. I don't care.
Okay. All right. And I understand it. It's just that most people already recognize that we don't care about I don't influence your life in any meaningful way, right? I'm just talking about whether or not there's a courtesy, right?
You are not the exception.
I understand. I'm not the exception. I wouldn't want to be the exception. I'm just wondering, like when you said that you would pick the bear, and you know that there are other people who are kind and decent and would probably, right, if it came down to it, there's no question in my mind that if something were to happen to you, that I would intercede and put my life down to make sure that yours was preserved. I know you don't care, right? I know you don't.
I'm not going to sit here and have a conversation of you being like, but I'm one of the good ones. Like, I don't give a fuck. It's all men. I don't give a fuck.
It is all men.
I'm starting to question how this person even got into a relationship. Because to me, she sounds like the definition of a sociopath. She literally doesn't respect anyone and chooses to be aggressive against people who disagree with her thoughts. And here she is still acting like all men are abusers and assholes. As a man myself, no way in hell would I date this person because she sounds like she would make my life a living hell.
Well, Keith, if you are still listening, I did want to say one thing. I wanted to correct you. You said that if men walked around and talked to women in the way in which Elizabeth is currently talking to you, that it would be a whole different ball game, I believe was your words. Men walk around every single day and do so much worse and talk about women and to women so much worse than what could ever be done on TikTok Live.
And I want to know if that's the truth, why he wasn't in the comments telling the men who were insulting me, threatening me, calling me a bitch to shut the fuck up. Why did he, instead of doing that, come up here and try to tow police me, a woman?
You're right. He sat there and said he agreed that it's all men, but yet he did not call one of them out.
So no, you wouldn't. He doesn't, because he's not my man, he just said that he would lay down his life to protect me. Who is he going to protect me from? That's what I want to know. Protect me from who?
His brother, his uncle, his friend.
And then what's going to happen when I make him mad enough and I need to be protected from him? Then who's going to protect me? Another man? And then another man? Like, no.
And here they go playing the victim. First of all, I have never met a guy in my life who has acted like a terrible person to women before. Second of all, you're comparing TikTok to real life. Welcome to the internet, ladies and gentlemen. People are going to be assholes no matter what. Third of all, you're still acting like an asshole to people. How do you expect people to defend you when this is how you act? Like, honestly, these two girls are fucking crazy. This is also not the first time she has done a live stream like this. About a week ago, she did a similar live stream, but she instead wanted to debate people talking about her disability. The thing she wrote for the live was, "You don't look disabled." And then her question was, "Why do you think you're entitled to my medical information?" I wasn't really sure why people were asking this at first, but then I realized the things that people were saying in the live chat. Whenever someone tried asking Elizabeth what disability she had, she would get extremely defensive over the question and tell people that she doesn't have to tell anyone what her disability is. There were also people claiming that she's lying about her disability and she had been asking for people to donate money to her so she can train her service dog more. I couldn't find any evidence about her asking for money, however, so I would advise you to take this claim with a grain of salt. But one thing I will say is that if we look at how she reacts to people asking her these types of questions in her live, and also the fact that she gets super defensive about it and tries to play the victim, it really makes her come off as highly suspicious. And on its own, this is pretty bad. Because having a service dog while not having a disability is illegal. In Florida, service dog fraud is a second-degree misdemeanor, and it can cause you to pay up to $500 in fines and spend up to 60 days in jail. You're legally required to be diagnosed with a qualified mental or physical disorder to be able to have a service dog. So if, hypothetically speaking, if Elizabeth is claiming to have a disability and needs a service dog, but then gets caught not having any disability and having a service dog, she could get in serious trouble from the law. I took a look at her TikTok videos to see if I could find any information, and unfortunately I couldn't really find anything useful apart from a couple questionable videos. In conclusion, I think Elizabeth is a sociopath who needs some serious help. Because if I'm going to be honest, the way she is right now is not going to help her in life at all. Also, I'm not going to say that she doesn't have a disability, but it's really hard for me to believe she actually has one. But I think I'm going to wrap up this video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, then definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the notification bells so you don't miss another video. Anyways, I'm gonna go grab a beer, and I'll see you guys in the next video.